Good morning, everybody. It's a little bit after 8, but I've been up since about 6 because I decided to just go to bed last night rather than edit the video, which means I got to do it this morning, and it's taken quite a while. So the video is edited, and I'm just about to start uploading it. So yeah, I had a pretty decent night's sleep, but it's a pretty windy, chilly morning, that's for sure. So I haven't gotten out of the tent yet, but gonna have to soon. Get some breakfast going. So, pretty exciting stuff. Okay, it's 9 o'clock now. The video's finally uploaded. That took forever. It was a pretty good sized video, so glad that's done. Now, I have to clean up this horrendous mess that I have inside the tent. I just kind of shoved everything in here yesterday, and then get back out on the water. Well, I'm here on my little dried mud flat here, and it's a really windy day, so that'll be fun today. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna start packing everything up. Okay, I'm packing things up, and of course the wind is a pretty nasty headwind, so that's gonna be fun today. So one thing that I've been meaning to do is if I don't sink too deep, is my rudder here is a little bent. There's a stick in the way, but I want to see if I can bend it. I can't really do it one-handed, but I want to bend that straight because it got bent again. Okay, that's a little better, so should work. And yeah, I'm sinking pretty good there, so it is some soft stuff. But that is why I wear rubber boots. So yeah, I'm gonna retract the rudder again before I forget and push the boat down this slope and break it off and get everything else packed up. Well, if you ever find the urge to find dirty broken coolers without lids, come to the river because you'll find plenty. I personally have not felt that urge yet, but you never know. It's definitely the land of plenty for broken coolers. Okay, so I'm finally ready to head out. It's 10 o'clock, so that's a little annoying. I actually got up at 6 this morning, but by the time I got the video edited, posted, everything packed up, it turned out to be a pretty late morning again, so oh well. So if you ever intend to do this trip, I'd suggest not editing and posting videos along the way. You'll probably make a lot better time than I am, so but that's okay. So I'm going to get this thing shoved in the water and head out down the river. So there's 2 towns coming up, Waverly and Miami. So hopefully I can find power at one of them because I don't have enough power to edit and post a video tonight. So definitely got to do something. The other option is if I get past Miami and there's no power, is I'll just have to stop early and set the solar panels up for a couple hours and then get everything edited. So the town I'll be getting to tomorrow is Glasgow, and I know there's power there and a shower, so I'm looking forward to that. So it won't be the end of the world if I don't find power today, but it sure would be nice. So one of the major advantages to these sit-on-top kayaks, especially this barge of one, is that I can just step on, and I'm on the boat. So I don't have to shimmy into a little hole or anything. You just walk right on, and it's so stable, and it really doesn't even matter. You don't even have to be too careful. So I'm on the water, and now I've got to get out from behind this wing dam and out into the current. Just had an Asian carp jump out of the water right beside me. Scared me. So that was fun. So this slack water back here, as I said last night, is where all the fish hang out. So hopefully there won't be any more problems. Really don't want to start the morning off with a 40-pound fish to the face. Okay, made it into the current now. All I gotta do is merge into the moving water. And I'm good. There's actually a towboat coming upriver right around the corner here, and it looks like a pretty good sized one, so I'm probably going to duck in behind this next wing wall and wait for it to pass, because it looks like it's putting out some pretty good waves behind there. Okay, so I'm pulling in to this little bay behind this wing dam, letting this towboat get past, and if the Asian carp are ever going to jump out of the water, it's when this thing goes by with its motor, so we'll see. So the barge is kind of behind this rock wall. I'm going to cut through this opening here to the next kind of wing dam and just kind of make my way down river as this one goes up. So I actually remember this. Oh, I'm getting a little too close to that. We're good. So I actually remember this barge from my last trip. So I was told by a local that it hauls, I'm being spun around, that it hauls asphalt product up to Kansas City like twice a week. I don't know exactly what, but there's big tanks on it, and the whole thing's like a big like storage tank for something to do with asphalt. So that's pretty cool. There's a good chance that it'll go past me again on the downstream before I get done. And the fish are starting to jump a little bit. The Mr. Lambton. So the Asian carp aren't doing too bad. I've only seen like 2 or 3 just barely jump out of the water. Speaking of that, there's several. They're really... Never mind. They're jumping. Yep. There's a nice asphalt smell coming off of that barge. The interesting thing is I'm on pretty calm water, but there's probably 2.5 foot swells out there on the main river, so not too big of a deal. Well, there was my first Asian carp I caught on camera, so that was pretty exciting. Got another buoy. I probably won't show every single one of them. There's going to be a lot of them, but they're still they're new and interesting. So because it's red, it's on river left descending, and it just marks out the commercial channel. So the official commercial channel is 200 feet wide by 12 feet deep. That is what the Corps of Engineers maintains for barge traffic. So this just says that on the other side of this buoy, it's not 12 feet deep. So pretty interesting stuff. And you can't always trust the buoys because the river can move them, and does. So it's kind of hard to see, but up ahead they're actually repairing a wing dam. So this is pretty cool. They've got a really big excavator on a work barge and a towboat with a barge full of rock beside it, and he's placing rock in the water. It takes a lot of rock to build these wing dams. I mean, I just see the top 2 feet, not the massive pile of rock it takes to get it that high out of the water. It's a noisy operation, and I have to be careful and keep an eye out because they should be sending up another barge full of rock at some point, and gonna have to keep my eyes peeled on that for that. So it looks like the spuds, which are the poles sticking up out of the barge that they drive down into the bottom, are drove. Looks like 3 of them maybe, or 4, are drove into the bottom to keep the excavator barge in place. But the rock barge is being held in place by the towboat below it, pushing it up against the excavator barge. So that's pretty cool. And they just keep dumping rock till it's at the right height. Takes a lot of rock to keep this river contained. And that is a big excavator. So I'm not moving very fast today, mostly because of the headwind. It's definitely cutting my speed in a third, if not more. So not gonna make massive miles today with that, but you can't change it. So no big deal. I'm still going downriver, and that's all that matters. Yeah, I've learned on this trip, just there's no reason to get mad over weather, because it doesn't care, and doesn't matter if you get all worked up or not. So there's no reason to. But headwinds are, I think I've said this several times, just really common and don't really bother me all that much anymore. Just part of it. After having months of it, it's just normal. I'm just at mile marker 301, and there's a massive pile of buoys up here on the bank. I don't know, I guess they stashed them here. It's kind of interesting. There's probably about 50 of them. So, pretty cool. And this shot took a lot of work, because I'm actually facing upstream, and I was on the other side of the river, and I crossed all the way across the river just to get a clip of that. So, all right, now I'm going back downstream again. So you might see some of these white crosses up on the shore, and that's not where someone died. It's actually survey markers that they use to lay out all the wing dams. So if you see one of those in the background of a clip, it's not a memorial. It's actually used for survey work. So I think Waverly's around the next turn, so that'll be interesting. Hopefully there'll be a power outlet. But until then, I have menu number 9, beef stew. So the sign right there says 299.9. So that means I have now kayaked officially 2,000 river miles, because it's roughly 2,300 miles to St. Louis. So that is a huge accomplishment, and this is it's roughly 2,300 miles, and the 2,300 miles are river miles, so they count exactly right up the middle of the river and right up the middle of the lakes, which is definitely not what I have done. So I'd say, conservatively guessing, I've probably kayaked more like 3,000 miles rather than 2,000. But the official river miles, I have now gone down 2,000 miles, which is just an insane number. That is crazy, and something I never thought I'd be able to say that I have done. Just wow, 2,000 miles. That is so much. And all of it pedaling down the river in this big orange hunk of plastic. Okay, so coming up the river in front of me is another barge full of rock for that excavator. So I'm gonna tuck in behind these wing dams when I get around this point here, and wait for it to go by. That is a pretty heavily loaded barge. It's only sticking out about a foot out of the water in the front, because it has so much rock piled up on it. Okay, so there's only about 2 footers out here, not too big of a deal. So the one thing I do have to be careful is for the other one up there with the excavator, bringing the empty barge back down, because he'll be moving pretty quick downstream. So I'm gonna have to keep my head on a swivel to make sure he doesn't sneak up on me. Some rough water. Bit of a rogue wave. Woo! That one got my feet wet just a little bit. Not bad, I was able to pull them out of the way, but it's the biggest wave I've seen in a while. But luckily, no big deal at all. Well, that's a pretty cool little river camp. Nice little deck with a small building and nice staircase down to the river. I wonder how many times it floods though. But as you can see with the flag, it is pretty windy. So it's definitely slowing me down quite a bit. So I'm finally coming up on the town of Waverly. So the boat ramp here at the minimum is going to have a bathroom, which is exciting, and hopefully power. And water would be nice too. The boat ramp should be about 100 yards in front of me, but as usual, they're pretty much invisible till you get to them. Okay, here's the boat ramp, and I really need to use the bathroom, so hopefully there's one here. Okay. Alright, so I'm here at the Port of Waverly, as Google Maps calls it, at the boat ramp here. So they have trash, and up the hill it's a little far away, but there's water and a little pavilion with picnic tables and power, and up above it, that little building is a bathroom. So it's actually got everything, which is pretty awesome. So I already went up to the bathroom and used it. I had to go pretty bad, and the camera battery was dead, so I didn't film any of that. But yeah, this is working out really well. So I plan to probably stay here a couple hours and get everything charged. So I think even though it's a little more work, it'll make me feel better. I'm gonna get the boat from down there at the bottom of the ramp, pull it up here just to where I can see it, so I know it's not floating away. It won't if I pull it up out of the water, but it just makes me feel better leaving the boat if I can see it. So I'm just gonna do that for a bit of peace of mind, and then carry all the electronics up there to that pavilion. It's gonna be a little bit of work, but it'll be worth it if I can get everything charged. So I'm gonna do that. Plus there's a hydrant up there, so I can bring my water bladders up there, get them all filled up, and bring them back down. So this is working out perfect. So first I'm gonna get the boat up here, I'm gonna bring the electronics up, get them start charging, and then I'll deal with everything else. I'm not sure that was worth it, but it's done. So I'm gonna grab all the electronics and get them charging. Whew. And there's the barge with the empty load of rock I've been watching for to come back downstream. So luckily it's gone past, and the quarry is just around the corner here. I could see it, so one less thing to worry about. But these things move pretty quickly going downstream, so you got to keep your head on a swivel. Well, the boat's down there by the ramp, but I can clearly see it. And I'm here at this little pavilion, and I've got the boxes of electronics here. There's a water hydrant, and the bathroom's right up the hill. So this is just about perfect. It's got outlets all over the place. So I'm gonna get my rat nest of wires out and start charging everything. Well, this giant mess of wires is what it looks like when I'm recharging absolutely everything. So that's a lot, but it's really nice to be recharging. This is the lowest I've gotten on the trip, so this is absolutely great. So I think what I'm gonna do is sit down and edit tonight's video, just so I can have that done out of the way. Then I'll go down and get my water bladders, refill all of them, get rid of trash, and then hopefully by then everything will have been mostly charged. Okay, I'm about halfway done editing the video, and another load of rock is heading back upstream. So there's just so much rock that goes into this river to keep it contained. Well, it's about 3:30. I was here for about an hour and a half so far, and I just got the video edited, and now I'm about to start uploading it. And I think I'm gonna run down and start filling water bladders. That's the next task. So pretty enjoyable afternoon. This little pavilion is pretty awesome. Okay, so I got my water bladders refilled. They're sitting here beside the boat, and everything's just about charged, and the video's almost uploaded. So this is working out really well. So here's the sign for the Port of Waverly. So I've really enjoyed it here. It's a lovely little place. It's not very quiet with the grain elevator right there, but other than that, it's absolutely awesome. Well, the downside to charging absolutely everything is that it just takes forever to pack everything away. So that whole mess fits into these 3 containers here, 2 boxes in a bag, and that took forever. So it's about 5 o'clock. So I got here about 2:30, and I'm assuming it's gonna be about 5:30 when I leave. So a 3-hour break to charge absolutely everything, get my video uploaded. I think that's a win. So that was a very nice break. So I'm going to get down to the boat ramp, get everything down to the water, shove everything back in the boat, and take off. Another train. So if you ever decide to do this trip, I would suggest bring a lot less stuff, because 4 trips of stuff down here brought the heavy stuff down. Still have to bring the boat down here to the water, put all of this junk in the boat, and then take off. So it's a process. Luckily, the downhill is a lot easier than the uphill. Okay, it is like 5:25, so my guess on loading this was pretty correct. So I'm gonna head out and go until dark, since I already have the video uploaded. That's pretty great. So yeah, but this time I'm gonna remember to put the wheels up rather than go like for 20 minutes with the wheels down and complain that the pedals don't work. Sounds like a plan. All right, well, I really enjoyed Waverly. That was perfect. Had everything I could have asked for. So now I'm gonna head down the river. So the awesome thing is, now that I have power and water and I have plenty of food, I can go until Glasgow, and where I know there's a restaurant and a campground with a shower. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It has been quite a while since my last shower. So that's gonna be amazing. And here's the grain elevator that I've been listening to for the past couple hours. And here's Waverly Bridge. It's a modern, fairly new bridge. And on the other side is another grain elevator. So on the back side of the bridge, there's that gray box there. That's actually the water level monitor. So if you look up Missouri River water level at Waverly, it'll give you a chart on the water level of the Missouri River, and that's where the data comes from. Apparently Waverly has another boat ramp here, but I don't see any water or power here, so I'm very glad I stopped at the first one. So here's that other grain elevator. So this one has a much more modern barge loading facility here. It's got a whole control room and everything on this tower. So it's pretty cool to see a much more modernized version that's not completely covered in rust like about 80% of them are. Those are some massive piers to attach barges to as they're being loaded. Pretty crazy. Well, I've had a pretty enjoyable day so far. Spent about 4 hours on the water, and then another 3 hours charging everything, and now I'm back on the water for another probably 2 hours until dark, 3. So yeah, pretty good. So I do have some big plans for tomorrow. So I want to get up pretty early, since I don't have to stay up late editing a video, and just see how far I can get tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that, because I'm ready to make some miles, because these past couple days I've just had some late starts, which is completely my fault, but still kind of annoys me. So we'll see how that goes, because the river is really good at destroying plans. But I just realized something which is really annoying. I forgot to put the wheels up. That is really embarrassing. I even reminded myself right before I took off to put those up. I just hardly ever use them, because normally I just pull the boat up on the shore rather than deploy the wheels and actually unload all the heavy stuff and pull the boat up out of the water. It's just more work than it's worth usually, but okay, I'm gonna put these up and then go down the river a little faster. Okay, would you look at that? Now it's going a little bit faster. Well, this is where they're getting all that rock from that I've seen all day long. So they've got 4 empty barges here and 1 full one with a little tiny towboat attached to it. I find it pretty cool all the different ways they use to load these barges, because some of them have these massive ramps that they can just dump full haul trucks on, but this one they're just using an excavator. Got it parked right here by shore, and they haul rock up to it, dump it in a pile, and it scoops it up and puts it on the barges. It was actually operating while I was launching from the boat ramp, but it appears now it's just idling. Maybe it looks like it might be out of rock. And they got the Connie L there, just a little tiny towboat. It's amazing that thing can move that barge around. There he goes. So the river's definitely gotten a lot wider now. I don't know if it's this particular section, but it seems like the entire thing has just gotten a lot bigger, which is bound to happen the farther south I go towards St. Louis. And I'm passing by river mile 292. So it's a beautiful evening. There's just no air movement and it's not hot, so just about perfect. Well, there's a big island about 8 miles downstream that I'd really like to stay at tonight. But I've only got, hour and a half to 2 hours of light, so gonna have to kind of put the pedal to the metal here and just pedal a little harder for the last couple hours of the day, but that's okay. I'm excited to stay. I remember it from my last trip. It is a massive island with a huge sandbar, and I reached it at the middle of the day on my last trip, and I was pretty bummed that I couldn't stay there because it's a pretty cool place. Well, there's some pretty nice whirlpools right here. That was about 6 feet across. Ugh, shoving the boat a little bit, that one did. Still, not really any big deal. I'm about 4 miles away from my camp spot tonight. I'm just making good time. I'm pretty excited. So I believe I was told in a comment that some of these underwater structures are actually designed as fish structure, so kind of to help stop the current and give the fish a place to stay out of the current. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if that one is one of them, but there's a good chance because it's not near any other wing dams, so pretty cool. So there's another buoy here, and on this side there's a underwater wing dam. You can kind of see the part of it there that's sticking out of the water, and then the second half is no longer sticking up. The river's destroyed it, or it just wasn't built that high. I don't exactly know, but the water kind of bulges in front of it and then drops down almost a foot on the other side of the rock structure underneath the water. So pretty cool. Just makes a lot of noise as the water rushes over it. So it is just an absolutely beautiful evening, and that's what I love about this river, is just how amazing it is out here. So 90% of the time this is what it's like going down the river, just calm as can be. But there's that other 10% that can get kind of hairy, which you really got to watch out for. But most of the time it's just basically a lake that's moving down, that just has current, and it's as easy as can be to travel down it. So just an absolutely beautiful evening. And I'm definitely going to miss this once I get to St. Louis. That's for sure. I gotta say, I'm still kind of in shock about the absolutely amazing weather I've been having. Like, I've been cold and just in the mornings and completely comfortable during the days, and it's just been just more than I ever expected in Missouri, that's for sure. So couldn't ask for a better time to travel down the river. It is just awesome. So it's just hard to convey just the peace and tranquility there is out here. The only thing I can hear is insects, birds, and water, and it's just amazing. So it does look like it's going to start warming up all through the rest of the week, and it's supposed to be up in the 90s during the day this weekend. So this coming weekend, which should be sometime around, I'll be fairly close to St. Louis by then, so we'll just see. So Hill Island is just around this next bend, and I'm pretty excited about it. Looking forward to sleeping on a massive sandbar. Well, there is a beautiful sunset behind me. That's the downside to heading east, is all the sunsets are behind you. So across the way there is mile 282. So pretty okay mileage today. And here is Hill Island. So there should be a really big sandbar right on the other side of this little wing dam here. So there's a pretty decent sandbar right there on the other side of the buoy, but I know there's an even better one right up here. Well, it's kind of crazy. Last time I was here, there was about 15 feet of sand. It was a massive sandbar. It's still a big one, but it's not nearly as big, which is really no big deal. But it's just crazy how much this river changes. Okay, well, here's the home for tonight. A lovely sandbar, and how's that for a sunset? Just wow. Okay, so I got the boat pulled up, so I'm going to go ahead and set up the tent, figure out supper, and in the meantime, I'm going to record a little bit of the sunset. So I'm in the tent now, and for supper, I'm having a Peak Refuel beef pasta marinara. Peak Refuel is really good, and yeah, then I'm gonna hit the sack. So the plan tomorrow is I am 55 miles away from Glasgow, where I know there's a restaurant, a shower, and a campground. And if I want to stay there, or there's a nice sandbar 5 miles downstream from there. So my kind of plan is to get up extra early and hit it really hard tomorrow, and hopefully get to Glasgow tomorrow. That is the plan. So I have just the bare minimum in the tent. So I'm going to get everything packed up that I can before I go to bed and wake up extra early, get all of this taken down and onto the water at first light, and just see how far I can go tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about it. So hopefully, if all goes well, I will be taking a shower tomorrow.